So after having made a guide to Plague Warden, it got me thinking. What other commanders have funky comps or strategies? Now Swan here tends to come to mind with his P3. Payload Director is another prestige I rarely see used, and probably because nobody likes drops in co-op. Again, that might just be me, but you tell me the last time you've seen somebody take ventral sacks in co-op. Now normally you only use Hercs on Swan for siege tank drops, taking an immobile WAD and making it very mobile. But with Payload Director you can shove half of your supply cap into a single Herc, and do cheeky stuff like this.
Ready for deployment.
I'm calling in a special delivery.
Hello there.
I'm clear. Looks like the enemy's close. Detectives out there.
The Herc's instant unload time means you can stutter step or fly, I guess. Your entire army, leapfrogging over ramps, friendly and enemy units, basically anything. Essentially combining the power of regular tank drops and applying it to your entire army is better than it stops his Goliath door from never come from taking 7 days to move across a map.
Your Terran soldiers have opened fire.
Now I'm no Clem or Mark. I fat finger the micro a lot sometimes, especially a few times later, but thankfully there's ways around being bad.
SCV good to go, sir.
If you have SCVs loaded into a Hercules alongside damaged units, the loaded workers will auto-repair them.
We're detecting your main objective.
You'll have to make sure the SCVs are added to the same control group as the Herc, or else they won't get picked up during the stutter
Your
step.
Terran soldiers have opened fire.
3 locks have been...
I like to keep a couple for turrets if I need them as well. Here's some of that leapfrog action I was talking about. No lie, I legit got blindsided by these guys. Jerks. Swan tanks have necromancy, so them getting walloped isn't the worst thing. Now there's absolutely no reason to double Herc micro. But given the fact that you can just make whatever and shove it into the Hercs of holding, it's frankly a why-not.
This is getting out of hand.
Hellbats make surprisingly effective tanks for squishy Goliath tanks, even more so against Protoss as Nexus Ledge versus Light. Also Science vessels are god, do not forget about D-Matrix entry.
Rock and roll. You want a piece of me, boy?
It's a good thing Goliaths are peak anti-air. You always want siege tanks on Payload Director. Borderline, no exceptions.
Shuttles are no more.
Escape was never an option for them.
Now you do have to pick and choose a bit what you want to go with the siege tanks. Early game is a toss-up between Goliath, Thor, or even Hellbat Goliath, if you get tons of light units. There's another neat thing that puts Payload Director a cut above. Just like with Blink on Stalkers, if you get shot at by a projectile-based attack, say a Reaver Scarab or a Mutalisk Glaive, and then load that unit, you dodge the attack altogether, while still being able to cycle your shots. Combined with tack jump and its cooldown reduction, and you can run circles around anything. I can't understate the importance of control groups. Just click dragging and shift clicking units all into the one tends to work.
SCV ready.
You also can hit control and then click a unit on the bottom panel. to select only that unit out of your army or selected
They
pool of
appear to be
stuff.
launching more shuttles toward the warp conduits.
You mainly only use it to pull new wraiths or science vessels and give them their own group. The L keys can also be used to shuffle units around between groups by selecting that unit and then hitting Alt key plus a number key.
Enemy forces are moving toward our base.
You can probably guess how the rest of this void launch goes. It gets hard camped by missile turrets.
My assessment? Umgak.
The shuttles have been
Swan in general has some slow ramp up, but you really feel it on Payload Director. But once you get about 4 or so tanks and any frontline unit, you're generally ready to go. Hence why I brought up Doors as a starting unit. You do want to grab Maelstrom rounds as soon as possible in any case.
Just need to keep it up.
Your allies have
Another day's coming to an end.
Your upgrade is ready for use.
I opt for Thor Siege tank for my counter. As Goliath ground, DPS is low for build and clear.
Sit tight, commanders. This night's just getting started. You sure you want to do that at night, commanders? The infested will be here any minute.
Here's some more of that classic DT shoving a scythe in your rear ASMR.
Your upgrade is ready.
Get stinky.
Your allies have entered combat. Your allies' base is besieged.
While my guy here is going through the 2021 Texas power grid crisis, I bring my Herc back to re-up on tanks and more boom. I really need to stop producing off of one factory for this. In this case, if it were any other map, we could make forward production, as to not have to go back and forth anytime we make more units. Or just bring the freaking rally point somewhere close.
Combat drop ready.
If it weren't for the spotters here, I think I would have took my Herc out and about sooner, but my turrets are going through their own power crisis at the moment.
Your allies' base is besieged.
Hold the line
2
until then.
hours later.
Your allies have entered combat without you. Your command center is under
We kind of pop out a little close here, but I was getting a bit impatient
If our base
after
falls to the
babysitting.
infested, this planet will be lost.
Your allies have entered combat without you. Your allies' base is besieged.
Sunrise. That's our cue to move. We won't have enough time later if we destroy too few structures today.
In the rear with the...
It is impossible to build there.
You generally want to keep the Herc moving constantly so it doesn't accelerate. I, however, am flawed like any human and tend to spare the micro unless it's needed. Def more flawed than most. As I'm editing this, I realize I can just stick the Hercules also on 3 so I can micro it separate more quickly from the Doom drop.
Your upgrade is
Let's just lightning strike our guys over here. Save us some walking.
Main, kill, burn! Main, kill, burn!
If both me and Artanis can just boop around the map, why not, right? Unless I spell his name like that, the TTS can't pronounce it. Kinda funny if you ask me. Artanis, 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 Yartanis. It's at this point I realize I'm the big dumb and never put my production in a group. But also that Swan was right, and just calling him Skippy is way easier than all them syllables.
Concentrated beam online.
One of the issues you do come across with Herc Micro is it really bogs up your ability to do much else. I tried to get around the macro part by just adding as many buildings as reasonable to my 4, 5, and 6 keys, so I basically never look at my base.
Gonnexon, you should avoid the gas.
Might be a good idea to kill it, but we can only do that at night. Don't worry if you can't kill the virophage.
I should probably talk about mutators while I have a moment. Since Payload Director functions as a sort of nidus network for Terra, skating around environmental hazards such as magmines, blizzard, Twister for example, is a bit of a cakewalk.
Your allies' base, your command center is under attack.
I tend to find you have pretty great army retention whilst using Herc drop spam, especially with SCV repair. Mutas-like killbots are still annoying, but as far as map-based stuff, being able to hit void rifts super fast and get out is pretty great. The only thing that's pretty scary is VCs and Vipers. Both Yamato and Drag can be a real pain in the ass. And they have massive leash range once they find something they want dead, namely your Hercules and tanks. I started puking out Goliaths just to get through my resource backlog.
Just a little more to go.
At this stage there's only a few buildings left. There's 2 more demonstration missions, in which one is malwarfare, and the other is missed opportunities with Wraith Comp and Herc drops. I opted to try as many things as possible barring cyclones with P3.
Your allies have entered combat without you.
Enemy is targeting our data core. You must hurry.
I had a bit of a slow ramp-up period on this mission, and only had 50 seconds for the bonus objective. Too bad the objective pauses while it's in progress.
This security terminal is clear of corruption.
We really get to feel the raw power of siege tanks this time around.
This purifier is free from harm. Personality will never be lost now.
Poor bugs. If only they had necks, maybe they could shoot up.
Personalities from this data core.
Irradiate is great on your enemy, but it's even better as an aura on your own stuff. We'll be using tac jump extensively here to bounce around the map. Malwarfare is huge and it can take a minute for new troops to catch up.
Tower. Quickly.
Again, that one factory production is biting me.
Concentrated beam ready.
Your allies have entered.
The towers can be pretty cheeky, but thankfully we can ignore it mostly.
I have overwritten 3/4 of the Tal'Darim's alterations. Hold fast. Systems work halted by power. Suppression tower down.
Your allies have entered combat.
Enemy suppression tower activated.
Kind of just faffing around a bit as the towers spawn. My personal policy with top bar abilities is use them or lose them. Swan's kit as is can live without big beam and pulse cannon as shown by his P1. And Payload Director at least feels somewhat like it's designed to use your army as your top bar in a sense.
Your upgrade is ready for use.
Jump and blow everything up in seconds and jump out in the same minute or so. You know, 60 minutes or less or your money back. It's not delivery, it's Payload Director. Annoyingly, fungal snare stops you from load cheesing. Brood queens also are pretty dangerous because they specifically only use it to target siege tanks. And I think literally nothing else. Since Zerg love projectile-based attacks, they actually can't hit the dropping units before they reload. Typically.
Hostile forces have been deployed to my position.
Wonder if Tychus spacesuit serves as a still suit or has a mag since he can't get out of it. Who was in charge of changing his suit on the Hyperion then?
Another suppression tower. Systems work halted by tower strikes.
Again, just puking Goliaths to do anything with my resources.
At least something is going right. The Tal'Darim is brutal, but not clever. He has not discovered this data core yet, but we only have a little time remaining. Detecting another suppression tower.
See, part of me wanted to do this in custom so I could solo show off.
System takeover.
But for one, I suck and two, I don't think most people that play co-op do it to play by themselves, especially nowadays.
Good work. I will have to ask.
I do wish I could reasonably random queue Brutal Plus and not have a bad time nor take 15 minutes to get into a match.
Concentrated beam heavy.
Numerous suppression towers activating.
I am considering doing guides on the commanders from Nexus Co-op as I might be blind, but I have not seen any tutorials or guides on what to actually do with any of those guys.
Suppression tower down. Only 25% of the corruption remains.
Your Terran soldiers have opened fire. Your allies.
I am unable to progress due to the
Whoa,
tower's
mech ball be upon ye. Snagging bonus right as the mission's over, cause why not?
You have protected another of my brethren.
Stinky infestors and spines are no match for a good tank.
This is just a transport. It has no shields to defend me from these strikes.
Receiving
Got a wave of enemies gunning for us.
Upgrade complete.
So for Mist here we get the big scary BC comp. And I opt for raids to Vanguard for my Hercules. It turns out to be quite effective at counter-sniping angry Terrans. But more importantly, I finally stop acting like I'm Bronze League and go for to factories and to starports. We get a Karax that has full static mode on and gives us a nice buffer till we actually have meat to work with.
enemy movement toward the bots.
The air comp here gets me to not use siege tanks at all, but I still should have made like 4 of them anyway. Because as we all know, getting Reaper Liberator Raven BC means you instead get Cyclones and Marauders on maps like Mist.
My bots are under attack! My bots are under attack!
Your allies' base.
Real good example of some of the computer jank that goes on with the Hercules. Shut up, Stetman, the adults are talking. As you might have saw, the Liberators there went straight into anti-ground mode. They do it because the Hercules having no attacks has lower priority and they default to countering the drop. However, as it's both a long cooldown based projectile attack and based in a circle, alongside our instant load and unload time, we can just make these guys look stupid, quite frankly. Thors do need a slightly longer drop period due to their weapon windup.
Concentrate.
Reporting in. Here we go.
Cyclones are stupid deadly, with lock-on being an almost instant kill on most units. Again, too bad loading and unloading breaks that lock, so as long as the Herc doesn't get tagged it makes no difference. And if it does tack jump or move away as soon as possible, vaporize the Cyclone. By now we have a couple wraiths and can get pretty mean. The Herc is durable, but not survives 5 Predator missiles and Vikings durable.
Some geysers are going to be opening in a few moments. My bots can smell them.
I absolutely cannot keep up with the micro, but by hell or high water I'll try. Remember what I said about leash range.
What? I thought it was funny. Bell Shear laughs every time I tell it.
As soon as my Herc goes down here, I get raw dogged by munitions.
I knew I should have put more turrets on those things.
Really puts in perspective how much damage you just ignore by leapfrogging.
Read the waiting order.
Your allies.
Enemy forces have converged on my bots! Everybody get in there!
Probably wouldn't be in this position if I wasn't playing so. Raven missiles and BCs have given me serious PTSD.
Good morning, commanders! The enemy's eating my bots for breakfast!
Sometimes you just got to tack jump right on top of your problem.
Your allies' base is besieged.
Read the waiting orders.
Explorer reporting.
Concentrate.
Okay, the bots should be on their way back. I need that Terrazine, commanders, for my experiments.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah. Big job. You scared me.
It is impossible to build there.
I try pre-building some static as a buffer, but of course that doesn't get to happen for long.
Upgrade. Your allies' base is besieged.
Explorer reporting.
You got my attention.
It appears the enemy is advancing. Prepare to meet them in combat.
Yeah. Transmit.
Your allies' base is besieged.
Read the waiting orders. Read the waiting orders.
Affirmative, sir.
Combat drop.
Hey, great job, commanders. My bots
Super
are safe and
glad
sound.
Swan
Do you
SCV
do this
repair
sort of
doesn't
thing
cost
often?
resources.
What's going on? Bad news?
Close at hand. Yeesh. They're really doubling down on this living Terrazine extraction plan. Maybe we should put a stop to it.
We use the Wraiths here to stutter snipe the BCs defending so they can't Yamato anything important.
Looks like these are the last set of geysers. The end is nigh, commanders. You saved it. Bell Shear thanks you, commanders. I thank you. Yes, me, with the thanking.
I decide to face a roll at this point because my eco could replace just about anything I lose. BC here must stand for before Christ cause I can't find their god anywhere. Wishing I had those tanks here again. Wraiths are super easy to integrate, honestly. I can't decide between microing the Wraiths or the drops, so I just let the ground forces a move.
I see you, enemy scum! They're going to attack my bots, commanders.
Attack formation.
Allies' bases besieged.
Wraith awaiting orders.
Wraiths are 150-50, so losing them is no different than a Goliath or a Hydra. They're great for doing exactly what they say they do, surgical strikes. Sacrifice 1 or 2 fighters so my death ball doesn't eat 30 spales. That's a damn good deal.
That was too close. You were almost a Jill sandwich.
Hello there.
Your allies have entered combat with your allies' bases besieged. Your allies' bases besieged.
And the race is on. Which bot will make it back to me first? My money's on Gary. He always gets the best oil.
This isn't related to P3, but irradiated Wraiths are super underrated against any bio. Anyways, this video is 10 minutes longer than it needs to be, quite frankly. I hope that if anybody's watched up to this point, or at all, that they learned something new at least. After all, I think that's why co-op and frankly Starcraft as a whole has persisted this long. These games have hardly changed in years and yet still offer new ways to solve its problems for those wanting to toy around. And frankly, what's the difference between a box of toys and an endless wonderland to the child that owned them? Thanks for watching and I hope y'all enjoyed. See you next time.
Greetings, Command. Affirmative, sir.
All right, bring it on!